Int. Catacombs. Lonely passage. Night. Fifield stumbles along, exhausted, pouring sweat inside his suit. He is hopelessly lost. He slams into a resinous structure that topples to the floor. Things break. He whips his light around in jittery paranoia, taps at his comm controls, getting only static. In Fifield is headlamp beam. The blackness is filling with motes of light. A blizzard of tiny flying insects. Scarabs. Fifield. Fifield to Magellan. Come on. Anybody. Seriously. God damn it. Scarabs flit through the darkness around him. They alight on his shoulders, crawl over his visor, obscuring his vision. Fifield. Comp D. Get off. He swats at his visor, killing some. The crushed insects produce acid that eats into the plexiglass in seconds. Fifield. Comp D. Shit. He twists, craning with his flashlight to inspect himself. Brushes scarabs away right and left. Acid opens a hole in his visor. Scarabs are inside, buzzing around his head. Fifield freaks out, clawing at his helmet. A scarab bites his cheek. Flash on. The microscopic world. As strange DNA invades Fifield's bloodstream. Virulent strands of protein attack the native. DNA. Transforming. Fifield. As his pupils dilate, breath hissing into his nostrils, his expanding body stiffens as if shocked by a powerful electric current. He screams, falls, convulsing. Ext. Magellan. Night. The storm batters the ship, bouncing it on its suspension. Scientist's cabin. Night. Watts and Holloway lie in bed, exhausted, arms around each other. Watts stares into space. Watts. We found the gods, and they've been murdered. Holloway. You've pried too many arrowheads out of old skulls to get squeamish now. They've been dead what? 1800 years? 2000? Watts. What could kill them? Holloway contemplates the question. Holloway. Who knows? He laughs bitterly. More. 57. Holloway comp D. But I guess we know why they never came back to us. Something killed them off, back around the time of Christ. Maybe he was one of them. A great teacher, sent from heaven, Jesus. The last engineer. Watts. Martin. Stop. She slaps at him. Holloway laughs. Bridge. Janek stands at the bridge window, staring out into the storm, buffeting clouds and howling winds. The lighthouse beams of the Magellan's beacon sweeping through the cloud. He plays his squeeze box in the teeth of the storm. Janek. Singing. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me. Behind him, David appears on the bridge, steals across the bridge to a ladder, descends into the compartment below. Navigation computer room. David activates the navigation computer terminal. Light bathes his face. His fingers fly over the keyboard, silently and swiftly, with superhuman dexterity. David, quietly, activate. Administrative override. Ext. Magellan. Dawn. Daylight filters through the clouds. The storm has passed. The Magellan sits intact on its landing struts. Int. Magellan. Vickers suite. Secret room. Dawn. The high-tech room hums at a different frequency now. Indicator lights green and ready. Vickers throws switches. 58. 4 hibernation pods slide out of the metal walls. From each pod, a muscular soldier rouses from sleep. They are scarred and crew-cut. Tough customers. They wait like veterans. Their leader sits up and clasps his head with a wince. This is Captain Shepard, a career mercenary who has followed the highest paycheck to this strange duty. Vickers. Captain Shepard. Shepard, squinting in the light. Reporting. Lydia Vickers. I'm your authority. Shepard. Comp D. Understood. Vickers. I'll brief you on the way. We need to move. Shepard, no breakfast. Corridor. Vickers strides forward. 4 soldiers at her heels. Captain Shepard, Vigoda, Ray, and Card. They walk in unison, their boots drumming on the deck. Scientist's cabin. Holloway and Watts lie sleeping. The distant drum of marching feet rouses them. Watts frowns at Holloway. Watts, what is that? EVA. Room. The prep room inside the airlocks. A soldier, Vigoda, waits there. A slim dark man with an air of calm. Holloway and Watts arrive in civilian clothes. Perplexed. Holloway. Where is everybody? We can't. He stops short. Who are you? Vigoda. Captain Janek took his crew out to retrieve his missing men. They never came in. Holloway. And you are, Vigoda. Vigoda. We land security detail. The scientists are dumbfounded. His presence is impossible. Watts. Where do you come from? Vigoda. Director's call to brief you on that. I'm supposed to escort you to the worksite. Holloway. Worksite. Vigoda glances at a mapping unit. Vigoda. Haven't been out yet. I understand it's in some kind of pyramid. Corridor. Vickers cabin door. A furious Holloway and Watts, trailed by Vigoda, arrive at Vickers' cabin. They are astonished to find Shepard standing guard at the door. Vickers' suite. Vickers sits calmly at her desk. Holloway and Watts stand in front of her, bristling. Holloway. Why wasn't I told about these? Additional personnel? Vickers. They are my personnel, on my ship. 60. Watts. What are the guns for? Vickers looks at them unflappably, sure of her ground now. Vickers. I'm being careful. These new finds give our work a new importance. Watts. You should have talked to us. Martin's mission leader. That's in our contract. Vickers. The second you found alien technology, control of this mission reverted to me. That's in your contract too. Watts and Holloway exchange grim looks. Vickers has them. Vickers. Comp D. Mr. Wieland's pouring trillions into Mars. He's spent a fortune building ships like the Magellan to search for colony planets, but Earth-like worlds are vanishingly rare. The right distance from the sun, the right atmosphere, enough water. She glances across the suite at her holographic display, a live feed from the pyramid worksite, where David works on the terraforming equipment. Vickers. Comp D. This is a technology to transform worlds. He'll never give it up. She turns to face them and neither will I. Holloway. The science must come first. You can wait until we've documented. Vickers. You're standing on an alien world courtesy of Wieland Industries. Be grateful. Watts approaches the holography terminal, staring at the images in horror. Watts. What are they doing in there? Int. Pyramid. Core chamber. Day. Watts and Holloway, in spacesuits, arrive on the scene. Powerful floodlights illuminate the core chamber, beating back the gloom. A fine spray of water falls out of the darkness overhead. David, Chance, and Ravel are dismantling the hulking mechanism at the core of the pyramid, peeling its thick skin away with power saws and compact explosives. David operates a diamond-bladed hull saw, carving away the terraforming system's thick skin. Robotic scanners take high-resolution scans of the machinery. 2 Wieland security soldiers, Card and Ray, stand guard in combat vacuum suits. Automatic rifles at the ready. Watts takes in the destruction with dismay. Beside her, Holloway is all but gnashing his teeth. Catacombs. Janek drives a cargo rover carrying a search party. Flashlight beam sweeping. Stillwell, Glass, Downs, and Brick. Janek studies an electronic map as he drives. Glass. Intercom. Milburn. Fifield. You read me. Come back. Janek. We should be getting beacons off there. Suits. Stillwell. Shielding in the walls. Brick. Suits could have failed. Janek. Both suits. Pyramid. Core chamber. Watts watches in rage as a large section of the central mechanisms falls with a thunderous clamor to the deck. 62. Holloway touches her shoulder. Motions for her to follow. Lower passage. Holloway and Watts pass the dead engineers they discovered the previous day. Watts. We found the tomb of the gods, and brought grave robbers right to the door. Holloway. Let them scratch. This find's too big to ruin. There's 24 pyramids on this moon. Anyway, they're on the wrong track. That's infrastructure. Holloway plays his flashlight over the biomechanical apparatuses lining the walls. Holloway comp D. The core activity of the complex was down here. They turn a corner. Dead engineers lie scattered over the floor in front of them, desiccated and skeletal. Long dead. Watts moves among them, fascinated. These engineers all died of explosive chest wounds, ribs bent outward from within. They are otherwise unmarked. Holloway is more interested in the mechanisms. High-tech iron maidens, built to fit the bodies of giants. Some suggest sitting positions, others standing. Their design is invasive, meant not merely to embrace, but to penetrate, to fuse. Watts. Something different killed these. Shadowy colonnade. Watts and Holloway explore a wide colonnade. She is still distracted by the ancient dead, he by the machinery. Holloway walks down a narrow branching hall, so intent on the mechanisms in the walls, he almost doesn't see the air shaft plunging down into darkness in front of him. He stops just in time, turns back. 63. A ghost appears right in front of him, a giant dragging himself across the floor, his monstrous visage eye to eye with Holloway and looming closer. Holloway leaps back with a gasp, and falls down the shaft. The ghost stares after him as if watching his fall, disappears in a puff of static. Watts crosses down the main colonnade, searching. Watts. Martin. An iris door closes over the shaft. Colonnade. Searching. Watts walks anxiously through the dark, sweeping with her light, shouting for Holloway. She breaks into a run. Catacombs. Milburn's resting place. Janek and Stillwell stand aghast. Their flashlights illuminate a hideous sight. Milburn lies dead on the deck, his body contorted in agony. His head inside his helmet is gnawed down to the bone. Stillwell. What happened to him? Stillwell removes the dead man's helmet. The centipede scuttles out onto the deck, doubled in size. Stillwell leaps back with a cry. Janek pulls his pistol, puts 3 rounds through the butt. It dies in a spray of acid that burns holes in the black floor. Janek watches in astonishment as a pinprick dot of acid eats a pit in his gun barrel. Downs. 0. S. Captain. Downs approaches, holding pieces of a shattered helmet. The stenciled lettering on the helmet reads Fifield. Janek's jaw clenches grimly. His voice is resigned. Janek. Where's the rest of him? 64. Downs. No sign. Janek. All right, we're done here. All hands back aboard. Stillwell. What about Milburn? They look down at the ravaged corpse. Janek. We can't bring the body aboard. God knows what's in there. Bab him. We'll put him in an ore hopper. Pint. Magellan. Vickers suite. Vickers stares at her holography terminal. It displays Janek's helmet cam view. The Milburn's body, sealed in clear plastic in the bed of a cargo rover. Janek. VO. Filtered. Repeat. I have 2 men down. I'm pulling my crew back to the ship. I'd advise you to do the Watts. VO. Breaking in. Filtered. Please. Anyone. I need help. Martin's missing. Vickers looks nervously from one video feed to the next. Janek. VO. Filtered. Watts. Where are you? Vickers turns. Captain Shepard stands behind her, watching. She strives to control the quaver in her voice. Vickers. Captain Shepard. Consider yourself responsible for my personal security. Catacombs. Juncture. Watts stands beside Janek's rover in a wide dark passageway. 65. Janek. I've just lost a third of my crew. I'm not sending any more men off into the dark. Watts. We can't leave Martin out there. Janek. Get Vickers to lend you some soldiers. Watts. Furiously. She says her forces are committed. Janek sighs. Glances at the rover. Milburn dead in the back. Stillwell. Downs and Kamarov looking jumpy and eager to go. Downs shakes his head grimly. No way. David. OS. I'll stay. David steps out of the dark. Calm as ever. A slim machine gun slung over his shoulder. David. Comp D. You'll be safe. Watts. Thank you. Ext. Magellan. Day. Janek and his crew unload Milburn's body from the rover. Janek. Put him in the number 1 ore hopper. Get the scrubbers on in the airlock. Sterilize everything. Minutes later. Stillwell uses a remote to lower an ore hopper from the belly of the ship. A thick steel bin on heavy chains. He loads the body bag into the hopper. Pint. Magellan. Airlock. The crewmen enter one at a time, blasted by sterilizing sprays and radiations. Pint. Pyramid. Lower passage. David and Watts move through the dark. She searches with her flashlight beam. David looks around in the dark as if the catacomb were illuminated. Rapt admiration on his face. David, you and Holloway should work with me. I'm learning amazing things. This mechanism, the first layer uses energy fields to catalyze chemical reactions. The second can suspend the strong and weak forces, transmuting one element into another. The third layer builds customized bacteria, seeds the air with them. It creates life as a tool to change worlds. Watts, I can't think about this now. David, you should. He sighs. I understand. You're emotional. Watts. I am human. David. That's what I mean. Pint. Magellan. Bridge. Dusk. Janek stands on the bridge, looking out at the fading light. A towering wall of cloud rushes over the horizon. A storm front rolls across the holographic globe. Pint. Pyramid. Lower passage. David and Watts keep searching. Their communicators crackle. Janek. VO. Filtered. Watts. We've got another storm front coming in. Looks like it follows the sunset line. If you're coming in, you'd better do it now. Watts. Angrily. Number. David. I see light. Watts squints into the darkness. She sees nothing. Watts. Janek. Hang on. She sees it. A dim light bobbing far ahead in the passageway. She runs forward. Finds Holloway staggering blearily toward her, leaning on the wall. His helmet and most of his gear are missing. Only his chest lamp shines. Watts. Comp D. We've got him. To Holloway. Martin. Where's your helmet? He's disoriented. He stares at her face for a moment before she registers. His teeth chatter. He's freezing. Holloway. Broken. I fell. Little. Disoriented. I've just been. He waves a hand vaguely at the tunnels behind him. David removes his own helmet. Fits it over Holloway's head. David. Here. I can